All right, class, today we're studying section 3.6, which is solving absolute value equations. Before we can solve an absolute value equation, we have to think about what an absolute value actually is. An absolute value is defined as a number's distance from zero. So if you think about a number line, and here's 0, the absolute value of any number, so that's 3, is the distance between that number and 0. So in this case, the absolute value is 3. That's why when we take the absolute value of a negative number, such as negative 3, we're only thinking about the distance. So how far away is negative 3 from 0? And that would be also 3. Since we don't talk about negative distances, that's why the absolute value is always a positive number. So let's work on solving. The absolute value of 2x plus 6 can equal 12. But the absolute value of 2x plus 6 could also equal negative 12. Because whatever number we get in here, we'll take the absolute value of and make it positive. So for absolute values, we'll often have two solutions. If you think about what an absolute value graph looks like, it's that V shape. And so the V shape, just like the parabola, can cross the x-axis in two places. So let's figure out where this graph crosses the x-axis. So one zero, or one x-intercept, or one solution would be 3. But again, that only represents one solution. I have to figure out what the second solution would be. So in this particular case, I have two solutions. One of those is where x equals 3, and the other would be where x equals negative 9. Obviously, this little sketch is not drawn to scale, but it gives you a visual of what the solutions of the graph look like. Let's try this one. Even though we have an absolute value, we can still solve this equation with the x over here. We just have to think about the fact that the absolute value can be a positive number, and the absolute value can be a negative number. So you'll have to make the entire right side of the equation negative. And again, we should, in theory, have two solutions when I solve this. X equals 5. Or, if I distribute the negative sign, I should end up with a second solution. Notice, both terms have a sign change. If I only change one, I'm going to end up with an incorrect answer. In over 3, or over 6, which is 4 over 3. Negative. So again, two solutions, two places where my graph crosses the x-axis. There's a lot of other things that we can do with absolute value equations that we will talk about in class.